Okay, welcome to my video. I am excited. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite books of all times. This book completely transformed my view about myself, my mind. It gave me faith. And so it's The Power of Now, and it's written by Mr. Eckhart Tolle. This man's story is incredible, honestly. I just reading his personal story, how one small thought make him realize the truth, if I'm explaining it right, okay? Because that those are poor words, if I'm being honest here. But so in this particular moment, he experiences a going into the vortex. He experiences a shift of energy because he realized that essentially we are not our minds. So he, anyways, I won't go into details because if I don't want to distort the whole story, the real story. So just read, if you haven't read it, read it, and you can really hear his voice when you read the book. It's just beautiful. So the book was published in 1997. Only 3,000 copies were published, and Eckhart Tolle himself and some friends would go into local libraries and they would hand them out. It's such a beautiful thing and super humble. And so it was only until Oprah came across with the book, and that's where everything exploded, and it became a New York Times bestseller 5 years after it was first published. So before that, I think it was word of mouth, if I read correctly. And so this book really talks about the observer that we are, how we are not our minds. And that's why it helped me when I was transitioning, when I was finding myself, when I was struggling with my thoughts. Because really, you know how it is, thoughts, we can really damage ourselves with thoughts if we don't choose well, if we don't take the time to just quiet the mind. It's like a radio that never stops. And it's very depleting, it's very stressful, and it sucks the energy out of you. So it came into perfect timing, and what I understood, I'm getting my heart, I feel my heart like warming up and expanding when I talk about it. But what it taught me is to be present, to not only think with my mind, but really think with my body. Now, it takes practice, and no journey is perfect. I always say this. But our body is a memory, so if you do it here and then, you'll catch yourself in moments where, oh, you are already doing it, or you catch yourself in a moment where you can choose, right? You'll have the thought, well, I can choose to be present, or I can choose to just be in my mind and listen to my mind, and then arouse the emotions that come with it. So essentially, the book is obviously about the mind, the pain body. Our body response is through emotions. So how are we supposed to how are we supposed to thrive if we don't truly understand how we function? So this book for me was really that. It was like, oh, okay, I get it. It was easier for me to detach to the identity of myself, with the struggles, limitations, worries, and all of that. It was easier then to just detach and to sit in the stillness and silence. It helped me so much with my meditation practice too, because the biggest struggle in meditation is to quiet the mind, and sometimes that's why we don't want to go into the silent. We don't want to sit and just be with our thoughts because it's too much. It's scary, you know. So it helps understand how we can also, like I mentioned, use the body. So through our senses, don't just wash the dishes to wash the dishes. Feel the water, feel the temperature, smell the soap. So it's all those connections that you're doing without thinking. Isn't it beautiful? So I really truly recommend this book, and I want to share a story. Eckhart Tolle came in our city a couple of years or a few years ago. I really don't remember when it was, but I was not going to go and I wasn't planning on going. But one of my friends messaged me a few days before, and she said, "Listen, I have a ticket. I don't know if you know this gentleman, but he's coming. You should, I'm sure you're going to like him." I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, of course." He's like my idol. I have three idols. So I have Oprah, obviously. I have Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra. Now I've been to Oprah's event when she came here as well, Eckhart Tolle. So I'm just missing Deepak Chopra. So I know it's gonna happen. But anyways, um, so we go together and we have lunch before, and it was just beautiful. And it's super crowded. There's a lot of people. It's downtown, and it's a lot of people. But I usually don't like crowds. But this time I was like safe because I was going to be surrounded with like-minded people, so I was not worried. So we sit, we go. He's a little bit far, and I don't know if I was not wearing my glasses, but I couldn't really see him. But as soon as he steps in the on stage and he starts talking, I start releasing. Now, what I mean by that is that when we meditate, our bodies releases lower energy, so fatigue. Fatigue is not a really long, but anyways, releases, fatigue, stress, anything that is weighing you down in the energy. So you start releasing. For me, is yawning. My eyes get watery, and I just keep yawning, 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 and that's how I know that I'm already connecting. So it was happening while Eckhart started to talk. So I start yawning, and I'm like, but I just don't think about it until I catch myself in the moment, and I look at my friend, and she was experiencing the same. And I think, if I remember well, but we just start laughing because it's just so beautiful. This man's aura is incredible. And if you are wanting to get familiar with energy work, and please find a mentor, please find someone who is going to help you with that, because once you really take it seriously, you're very able to get familiar with other people's energy, or when you go in the room. Or, for example, right now I'm feeling the spring energy, and that gives me so much energy. It's still winter here. It's minus 26 today. It's super cold, but I keep feeling the spring energy. Spring energy is rebirth, is new beginnings, and just my energy is increases. It's just beautiful. So if I go back to Eckhart, his energy and aura is just so beautiful, warm, and just perfect. Unconditional love is just so beautiful, and he's funny, and I'm getting emotional just by talking about it, but it's because I'm connecting with the energy. But so the event ends, and we start, we leave and everything. And when we got there, My friend's eyes were like red and glowy. Um, in French, we say les yeux vitreux. I don't know how to say it in English, but and it was so it was so funny. It was like, like when someone smokes a joint and you see the eyes like, super watery and glowy and red. It was so funny. It was just we I think we didn't even talk after that. We were just on our way home and it was like we were just in the present moment. It was so beautiful. So, I really recommend this book if you haven't read it. Please do. You'll gain so much. Um, yeah, so I think that's it. So, if I do a little bit of summary, so it teaches presence, how we are not the minds, like I said, how to tap into the observer that we are, and wherever we are, like, to be there with the whole body and not just the mind. So, really beautiful and important practices that we can implement in our everyday life, and not just for perfection, but it's really just to be um, to tap into the real being that we are. Not about perfection, not about achievement, not about um, all of that. Is just about humankind and our nature, and to be the life energy that we are, to tap into the life energy that we are. And I think that's a great way to honor your, humankind, the world, any living um, being in our galaxy. Or I think if we can give a little bit to others, if we're not doing charity, or if we're not voicing these type of informations, or whatever it is, I think this is a great way to contribute um, in your own bubble, if I may say it like that. Contribute to love for the world. So I think that's it. I really do hope that this video finds you and it serves you. Please follow me. You can follow me in Instagram. My Insta is it's Brighter Light Coaching. And then you can also check out my website at www.brighterlightcoaching.com. So I wish you well. Keep safe, and I'll see you in my next video. So from my brightest light to yours. Ciao.